70 years and onwards. Let's look at 2025. Hi everyone, my name is Will. I'm a volunteer here on the Steamship Shieldhall and you are joining me on the bridge. In today's video, we're going to take a look back at 2025 and then look forward to 2026 and beyond. But before we get started, please take one moment, even while I'm talking about it, to hit that like and subscribe button. Just hitting those two buttons, whether you're on your phone, your computer, or even your TV, will do wonders and preserving maritime heritage for the future. So, 2025. How did we do? In short, better than expected. This year, we celebrated the Steamship Shieldhall's 70th birthday, and given that most ships have an operational life expectancy of roughly half that, it is just absolutely fantastic that we on board can celebrate 70 years of keeping the Steamship Shieldhall as an active, passenger-carrying, ocean-going, steam-powered vessel, the largest of her kind in Europe. We also hit some ticket sale records, and through 2025, the Steamship Shieldhall was able to carry 3,746 passengers. This number was no doubt achieved by the fact that the Steamship Shieldhall was able to increase her capacity from 200 passengers to 220 passengers. And as for our volunteers, well, they worked hard all the way throughout the year, not just through the winter, but also keeping the Steamship Shieldhall shipshape throughout the summer sailing season. The maintenance of the Steamship Shieldhall is a constantly ongoing job, and the love of the volunteers keeps shining through. When you step on board and find the ship in a good condition, that's because of all the hard work and love and effort that has gone into keeping the Shieldhall shipshape for you, our guests. From the galley team who serve your hot food and cold drinks, to the deckhands who apply the fresh paint and keep the ship in a smart condition, to the bridge team who give you a smooth journey over the water. At this point, we also need to give recognition to the fantastic, dedicated, passionate, beloved, smart, funny, and very good-looking volunteer engineer team who worked all the way down in the blistering heat of the engine and boiler rooms of the Steamship Shieldhall in order to keep the powerful triple expansion steam engines of the ship turning. Now, when a ship like Shieldhall reaches this age, 70 years old, gremlins, kinks, and just generally things to be addressed are to be expected. And when those things happen down in the engine rooms, it can, and has in the past, cause cruises to be cancelled at the very last minute. But thanks to the volunteer engineers' phenomenal and colossal efforts to keep the machinery running smoothly throughout 2025, we had a successful sailing season. Look, let's put it this way, if you reach 70 years old and are in peak physical health without any known issues whatsoever, please tell us how so we can apply it to the Steamship Shieldhall. Please? Moving swiftly onwards, our popular cruises in 2025 included sailing down to the historic dockyard of Portsmouth, sailing up the very scenic Rebel Medina on the Isle of Wight, and of course, when we met up with our fellow historic steamer, the paddle steamer Waverley. Fun fact, the tickets for that cruise from the Steamship Shieldhall sold out in record time, so if you were able to secure your tickets on board the Steamship Shieldhall for that one, well done. We've got some exciting cruise announcements to make in early 2026, so keep your eye out for that one, but for the time being, we're going to move on. One particular highlight we wish to draw attention to was our excursion to Poole Quay. When we've been to Poole Quay in the past, it has always been for the Bournemouth Air Show. Every single day, the ship is at capacity, sold out, interest in the ship is there, but this year, 2025 was going to be the first year there was going to be no air show. Would the interest in the ship be the same? Would we be able to sell tickets? Poole, you more than delivered. You welcomed us with open arms, the crowd showed up in order to see the ship, and not only that, but you joined us on our excursions out to the Needles and all the way around the Jurassic Coast. Our cruises were some of the most successful ones we've had throughout the entire 2025 sailing season, and because of that, we have already planned our return for August of 2026, even with no air show. We've also had more alongside events here in the port of Southampton, creating more ties with local communities and demonstrating exactly why the Steamship Shieldhall has been presented with the prestigious King's Award. We have not only continued to host local emergency services as well as services of greater national importance, but we've also hosted young carers and local school visits, allowing the young to become involved with maritime history in an all-new way instead of just learning about it on a board. I think everyone watching can recall at least one day where they had a school excursion and they learned about stuff outside the classroom and it was just the best. This educational aspect also includes the Maritime Heritage Trust, who are helping the Steamship Shieldhall discover the educational aspects that the steamship can be used for. Hollywood is also paying more attention to the Steamship Shieldhall than ever before. Earlier this year in an episode of Who Do You Think You Are, some sharp-eyed viewers may have noticed that Ross Kemp himself stepped on board the Steamship Shieldhall on his journey of self-discovery into his family's past. We've also been accommodating location scouts, producers, directors. They've all been coming down, taking a look at the Steamship Shieldhall, seeing how the ship can accommodate their production. As you can imagine, we can't really talk about those projects at this time, But Hollywood, we are here. Call us. We've already talked about milestones, but to bring it back to milestones for a moment, we were presented with the King's Award for Voluntary Service in an onboard ceremony. We've already talked in another video about what this award means, but effectively, it's an MBE for voluntary charities, like the Steamship Shieldhall. This award is to reflect the incredible work that every single volunteer has put in over the years of the Steamship Shieldhall's preservation, and shows, pun intended, we run a tight ship. This award and what it means and what it reflects is going to be good for the ship, the charity that runs it, but it's also going to assist for projects in the future. For our passenger numbers in 2025, we've already talked about how we carried 3,746. However, one thing that we had an equal share of was brand new as well as returning guests. And so one thing we want to quickly say is if you return to us in 2025, thank you so much for supporting the Steamship Shieldhall. And if you were brand new to the Steamship Shieldhall in 2025, thank you so much for taking a chance with us. One thing we learned in our feedback forms was that most people learned about the Steamship Shieldhall through word of mouth, through conversation. However, one thing I took particular interest in was that 3 people noted they learned about the Steamship Shieldhall through YouTube. And so if you 3 are out there, thank you so much for noting that. So with all this fantastic news, surely we had a good financial year, right? Well, yes and no. In what continues to be an extremely difficult financial environment with cost challenges in every direction, we did have a good year. We did record a £30,000 loss. However, it is worth noting that this is better than we had predicted at the Steamship Shieldhall charity. And so because this is better than we had anticipated, it allows us to move into 2026 in a strong position with a positive outlook and with plans on how we can improve our financial position in 2026. And now we've looked at the past, it is time to look to the future. What lies ahead for the Steamship Shieldhall? First, if you haven't seen our 2026 sailing program yet, why not? We have all new cruises, including not only a sea shanty weekend, but we are sailing further around the Isle of Wight than we have done in many, many years. We'll be steaming to just offshore of the sunny seaside resort of Sandown. Not only that, but our popular steaming destinations are back, such as Portsmouth, the River Medina, and of course, as mentioned earlier, Poole Quay. If you're eyeing up any of these cruises, I cannot stress the importance that you book your tickets now. Through the winter period, these cruises have been filling up fast, and it is so important that you book your tickets now to avoid disappointment, because once the ship's at capacity, that is it. We can't take any more on board. Some keen-eyed readers of our program may have noticed some massive gaps in our sailing program. Well, at this time, I can't possibly comment on what may potentially be filling those gaps. As for our other plans outside of our sailing schedule, we have got the ball rolling on opportunities for external parties to be involved with the Steamship Shieldhall. I'm not just talking about filming, I'm not just talking about emergency services, I'm talking about helping our local communities within a wider catchment area. We're talking about not only those that are local to Southampton, but nearby towns, cities, villages, counties. We want, at the Steamship Shieldhall, to be involved with you. If you're watching this and are thinking that the Steamship Shieldhall could be involved with your local cause or community, then please drop us an email. But maybe you're watching this and thinking about what you can do individually. Please come and chat with us. You don't even need a skill. Provided you are ready and willing to learn some new skills, we on board can teach those skills to you. If you're interested in maritime history and maritime preservation, then we need you on board the Steamship Shieldhall. Visit our website to see about volunteer opportunities on board the largest operational historic steamship, the Steamship Shieldhall. But if you're watching this video and want to help right from where you are, remember what I said at the top of this video. The like and subscribe button is going to help us out massively. You can even just do it while I'm talking about it, because be it if you're on your phone, your computer, or even on your TV, just hitting those 2 buttons is going to help us massively in getting our voice on the Steamship Shieldhall heard and preserving the ship for future years to come. So to wrap up this video, remember to keep your eyes on our social media pages and keep your ears very close to the ground, because we have got some fantastic cruises to announce in early 2026. But not only that, we have got some very big news to announce regarding some big projects coming up. When the flowers bloom in spring, we will be ready. But until that day comes, from all of us here at the Steamship Shieldhall charity, thank you so much for all of your continued support. We hope you had a very Merry Christmas. We're wishing you a very Happy New Year, and we look forward to welcoming you on board in 2026.